outside cabin, and I forgot one thing. I've been setting up a lot of things, and because I'm going to make biscuits again on the stove top, and we're going to see how well that works. So let's get this bad boy going here. For optimal audio sensations, fine. All right, how we doing, everybody? Good morning. All right, so what I'm doing here, let's see, I got my biscuits started, and I got a wood stove going with, there they are, bricks. So last time I didn't really stress how incredible it will be to use bricks for baking biscuits. I only talked about it in comparison to like charcoal briquettes and coals. But if if bricks works the way I think it's gonna, because I think it worked pretty well last time, then I don't have to bother with coals because the bricks cool down slower. Remember, this is how you make an oven. And they're reusable. So it's not like charcoal briquettes where you gotta buy more. So I'm pretty excited to try this. I only did a bit of a test last week, and so this morning I've been heating up some bricks. So I got to finish mixing up the biscuit mix, the biscuit dough with the oil, yeah. All right, thanks. Hey, Daryl made it. You can hear me. That's good. We're good. Thanks, Garrett. Butternut Rebel, good morning. And Justin, hey man, good morning. Mike Scott, Craig, God bless Texas. All right, let's get these biscuits going. That way, hopefully they won't take more than 30 minutes to cook. So like I say, in a normal oven, they're supposed to take like 15 minutes. All right, so I got this old original tin that I use for my oil, and this is pork fat, lard. And lard is actually something we're used to, maybe not so much anymore, but our taste buds collectively, not that the collective part is significant, but as a society, we're used to certain foods. It used to be that fat was commonly used, and then they switched it up to cheaper oils that are easier, or who knows, the farm lobby or whatever it was. They found some cheaper way to produce less healthy oils, and we got used to those. And then they figured out corn syrup is cheap, and started putting that in everything. I like to buy ice cream on occasion, and you gotta search and search for one that doesn't have corn syrup. But as a people, we've gotten used to eating corn syrup, the flavor of it. I've gotten sick of it because I started noticing it and quit. Anyway, this is the worst part of making biscuits right here, is getting the fat cut in. There's a cutting tool. If you guys haven't made biscuits, there's actually a cutting tool, it's called, so that it spaces out the now it's intentional that you use solid oil as opposed to melting it down and using the liquid, because this solid oil, you're supposed to mix it in until it's kind of granular, and then what happens is you throw it in the oven, and those little balls of oil that you've got in there, they melt and they create pockets. This is my theory. Nobody told me. I just, after years of wondering why it matters. So I believe because it makes pockets, and then it leaves your biscuits fluffier you know, less dense than if you were just to mix in oil and then it doesn't melt away. That's my belief on it. So you can use butter or you can use fat. And honestly, you can use olive oil too. I used to do that for a long time and it did work. So I don't know. But it doesn't help that I use whole wheat flour because then you don't get as fluffy anyway. So I'm not really able to test it. But this one I did 1/3. I did 1/3, uh, 1/3 white flour and 2/3 brown flour. So all that brown flour coming in, taking the white flour job. So anyway, I use a fork because it's also spaced. That's how a cutting tool is. It's spaced out. You can also use 2 butter knives, and that creates a pretty good space because, like I said, the fat or the cold butter is hard to granulate. But because I don't want to have 2 butter knives, I don't even have 1 butter knife. You know, I'm minimal on my tools around here. I got 2 knives, but the handles are too wide and it wouldn't be the right spacing. So I just use a fork. Fork works well. It doesn't work as well as 2 knives. So if you got butter knives and you want to try this, that's the way to go. A cutting tool, I don't know. I don't think it's really necessary. So anyway, once I get this granulated, now I have tested pretty thoroughly milk versus water for the liquid, because after you do this, then you just add the liquid to your biscuits, and honestly, I've had just as much success with water as milk, so I don't really bother. I've got heavy whipping cream, so when I have used it, I mix in a little bit of water to make it more like milk. And I was just looking around because I brought my waffle maker. Maybe next week I'll make waffles. I got one of them cast iron waffle makers for like $15. They're usually they're really expensive, like $100, $150. I got one for 15. So once in a while at Goodwill, the person pricing things makes a mistake. But Goodwill ain't like it used to be. They look for their antiques and then they price the heck out of them. So I was glad to find that. All right, proving hard to get a really good angle here. All right, maybe this will work. All right, any comments? Let's see. Daryl says you need to study olive oil press and see how they used logs to press with it. Oh yeah, that'd be cool. I saw a little bit of that in when I went to Italy. There's a wild olive tree that grows around here. Well, around here it's wild. However, it's invasive, but man, it'd be cool to get olives from it. Hey, Chris James made it. Good morning, amigo. Stanley York. Hey, good morning, Stanley. Thanks for being here. Craig. All right, that was the last hit. All right, so that's the comments. All righty. So, looks like I got enough of that pork fat mixed in. So, now we'll add some water. Now, the key to adding the water is you want biscuit mix to be different from pancake mix. You want biscuit dough to not turn into batter. I don't know if that's correct. I don't know what technically batter is, if it's different from dough. But it must be, because you call pancakes pancake batter, you call bread dough. So anyway, you add a little bit of water, and then you kind of fold it in. I may not have the technique down right, and if I would get a real better study going on here, then I could, like if I'd make it the same every time. But, because I've also just mixed it in. This is how I was told it's important to do it. But I've also just mixed it in where I pour it all in and then mix it. Honestly, I've had about the same results. But all right. So add a little bit of water. Like the desert, you don't want too much or everything will get out of whack. But a little bit is just nice. Speaking of water, I got the horse's water going out there. It's nice to not have to haul buckets around way out here in the desert. And but I do got the horses penned, so the dog's water and my water flows separate. Actually, we'll go out there in a little bit. And so last night I had the water flowing all night for the dog and I, the dog water and I, and the horse's water froze over, so it got to freezing last night. But it was really minimal freeze. It's not like they couldn't drink it. But that's the beauty of that artesian well that I got, is it comes out of the ground. So it comes out at like, I don't know, 60 degrees or thereabouts. Hard to say because it gets warmer the deeper you go. So anyway, I've had it it's enough to keep the water from freezing all night. So, you know, that's one of the challenges of raising animals, is keeping the water from freezing during the winter. Like when I was down at my other property before I got this one, and I was boiling water on the stove. All right, this is looking good. I was boiling water on the stove to keep it from freezing, and then now I don't have to do that. It's warm enough. And we've had some cold temperatures since I've been here too, so I've been able to really give it a test. All right, I don't generally need them. You can need them if you want to, or you can not need them. I mean, there's got to be a difference, but I haven't noticed a whole lot of difference. So, but I do know the key to kneading it is don't over knead it. And I used to be friends with this gal who was a trained chef, and she said, you gotta love the bread. You'll love it. So I sent her a video of me telling the bread how much I loved it while I was making it, and she thought that was funny. So that's what we got. I don't bother cutting it into individual biscuits, so that's why I call it biscuit bread and not biscuits. But hey, the Irish did it, soda bread, so why don't we? All right. We've got this beautiful weather lately, even though it's rained like 2 nights ago. It's been nice and sunny, which is good for the solar power. All right, let's put now I'm going to show you guys how I'm doing this biscuit baking with the oh, what do we call them? Bricks. Too many B words, it's getting me confused. All right, any comments here? More water. You need to stay? No, there's plenty of water. All right. Now, so these are warm. I didn't put those in the fire. Actually, they're pretty dang hot, but not as hot as the ones in the fire. I went and tore apart. If any of you remember, oh gosh, I'm not going to use these. I got to clean the rust off of them. I went and tore apart my, oh, well, this will work just fine. I went and tore apart my old brick oven, the one that I did a video on. Because I've never really used it anyway, but it was a great experiment to learn what works. So I tore it apart, and I got these metal pieces for laying the bricks at further distances, so I can have it farther, but they're too rusty. I got to clean them off so I don't get rust dust on. All right, now these bricks are super hot, and they fit just right. Oh, shoot. Getting ash on my All right, look at that. That brick is red hot. It's gonna burn my hand. All right, this is excellent. This is incredible, folks. And one more. All right, whoops. Now, what I failed to do was keep the fire super hot so that I'd have heat below and heat above. I think I'll help it out a little bit. Oh, shoot. All right, we're gonna heat up the pan pretty good on the bottom, and then we're gonna put it up top. Up top. All right, so this is exciting. Exciting stuff. All right, let's go outside. We'll let that cool, heat up for about a minute, and then we'll go back in. This is a beautiful day out in the desert, and it's so peaceful out here. I barely even listen to YouTube because I just don't want the noise. The dang horses, they were getting pretty wild out at the other place. So it's gonna be a while, I suppose, till they calm down. I tried to, the thing I do out here when they're kind of wild, so I don't have to buy food, is I keep one pinned. I keep one pinned up. Oh shoot, I just realized that's too high. There we go. That's the way you do it. You cook your biscuits on the live stream. That ain't bacon. All right, here we go. So anyway, now we'll give it, okay, we're at 17 minutes on the live stream, so we'll give it 13 minutes and check on it. So, all right. So what I do is, so there's a ton of green grass growing around here. And so what I do, I let one horse loose and the other horse stays pinned up. And they don't like that because the horse that's loose, even though they like being around friends, they just get caught up in eating. They just wander away out of sight. So the remaining horse runs in circles and gets itself in a fit, looking for its friend. But after a while, they calm down. They get more used to it. But this is just the first morning that we've been here. I went and got them yesterday. So this morning, I tried to get a halter on Comanche Moon. She wasn't having it. So I put a halter on Namnumkin. But then I couldn't get her to walk out without having Comanche Moon follow. Because what I do, I put a halter with a long rope on so that they don't wander too far. So anyway, I was trying to do that, and Comanche Moon ran out without a halter, but it was no problem. I got her back in later, and she got to eat for a couple hours. But now I need to let Namnumkin out. But I don't dare do it while doing the video because I'll get distracted and they'll both end up out. So anyway, that's what's going on with the horses. I got to check her feet. I haven't done that yet. Namnumkin's feet, and see if I can ride her. If so, I'm gonna throw some shoes on her and start riding her again. There's a lot of rocks out here. I can't get away without riding with shoes. She seems to have soft soles, unfortunately. You know, you would think that a Mustang would be easier than that, but there are some issues to watch out for with Mustangs. Like one that I found out that might be causing the problem is that she's on too high a sugar diet, because some wild horses, they don't handle insulin well, is what I've been finding. So here's the setup like I was talking about. So I keep that going for the dogs and for brushing my teeth and washing my hands. And this one, I use that for drinking water up in the cabin. So, whoops. So just like that, and then it flows onto the ground currently. But eventually, I'm gonna get it set up more to where I'm utilizing all that water instead of just letting it flow on the ground. And then over here, I turn this one on if I need the horse's water filled. Or, like I said, I'll probably start doing it at night to keep it from freezing over. Last night we saw a deer walking through here. It's fun having the horses because they're, way more alert than me, and they're constantly watching. So last night she was acting worked up, Comanche Moon particularly, and she was watching. So I got my flashlight, of course, and saw some eyeballs, and it wasn't moving like a coyote. And so I walked closer, actually to right about where I am now, and it was right over there, to see what the eyes were. I was thinking it might be a bobcat, but it ended up being a buck. So that was cool. And then about an hour later, I heard coyotes calling over there to coyotes calling over here, and made me wonder how that deer's night went. As if they mess with horses, I'm sure they mess with deer. I don't think the coyotes eat deer very often, but I'm pretty sure they mess with them. Because my horses hate dogs because they think dogs are coyotes. They get messed with. Of course, they might get messed with by dogs at night too, and I just don't know it. You never know how much dogs are roaming at night. All right, breathing heavy. That's embarrassing. I gotta exercise more. All right. I was lucky for that thumbnail. The horse came over here because Comanche Moon was loose. It looked like she's just hanging out with me because she likes me, but that wasn't the case. Comanche Moon was loose, so I called her over. And fortunately, she stood there long enough for a couple of pictures, so I got a decent one. Daryl says, think I should use the pig fat as a topping. Yeah, I need to learn to make gravy. I never learned how to make it. And but honestly, I've got butter and honey, and I think it's hard to beat. See, she's staring at something. I always look to see what they might be looking at, but a lot of times I don't see anything. But anyway, yeah, I got butter and honey. Do I like cheese biscuits? HJJMHM says. I didn't. I was always allergic to milk growing up, so I never really got big on adding cheese to things. I mean, I do. There's certain things I love with cheese, but I never got used to it where it's like I add it to things that I wouldn't normally. So, all that to say, not really. I mean, I've had them and so, like cheese bread. It's okay. I do know that adding cheese or bacon or both to anything makes it good. So, if you want to see somebody that's not a very good chef, just notice if they cover something with bacon. Not that I'm complaining. However, I like bacon separate. All right. See, she's worked up over something. Oops, I can't turn it now. I don't know what it is. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see. I broke my glasses the other day like an idiot. So now I got a pair with only one handle on them. So anyway, waiting for those biscuits. We'll check on them here in a minute. Well, this is life out here. It's simple and slow, and it's so quiet. Like I normally listen to YouTube videos all the time,
But man, out here, I like keeping them off. And I found after I was out here a few days and then I went to town, I think it was last week, I really did, like my whole body, I could tell I just slowed down where my body was more at peace, less stress. Traffic stresses me out, being crowded stresses me out. Of course, as you can see here, I'm kind of crowded here. I mean, I can see for miles when it's not cloudy in that direction. That's why I'm parked here. But I'm wondering if I should eventually move my trailer up where it's more elevated. There's a spot up there that I've actually thought about. I need to really do some 4x to get up there. But there's a platform. I like to go up there and sit. And I've thought about moving it up there. And actually, if I remodel the cabin, oh yeah, we should go look at the cabin again. If I remodel the cabin, then I'm gonna move this, make it like a guest house, set it up, and maybe I'll set it up there. Oh yeah, but anyway, for me, I don't know. Yeah, I'd kind of like to be elevated more. I often think about my property down in that direction, the first property that I had, and it was all flat, and I didn't have neighbors behind me at the time, just neighbors way off in the distance on a hill. So I was all alone out there, and it was wide open and flat. I kind of miss that. See, she's just constantly staring out there. She's also pretty much out of food in here, so I gotta let her out as soon as this video's over. All right, it's been 10 minutes. Let's see what kind of progress we've made. See if this revolutionary baking system is going to be as effective as I hope. Well, a whole lot better than when I do it the other ways. It's only been 10 minutes and it's already showing signs of baking, of getting thoroughly baked like a high school kid. And let's see. So I'm going to build up the fire inside. Now, the thing I'm dealing with on this cabin is I'm having a hard time getting it warm in here. And some smartass said he could see daylight. So I've got this is a 22-inch section of wall here that is unfinished. And so the exterior OSB doesn't sit flat. So there's a little bit of light coming through there. And there's light coming through the stovepipe hole, obviously. So anyway, this isn't enough to cause this place to not heat or to not cool in the summer when I use an air conditioner. Because I've heated in the first shed that I lived in was bigger than this, and I heated and it had no insulation. And I did use an air conditioner in this over at my other property this last summer, and it wasn't insulated at all, and I managed to stay cool. So the issue that I'm dealing with is this. I have not insulated the roof yet. So, well, not there. This section here, that's just a temporary roof up there because I haven't built the roof yet. And it goes up there. Oh, let's see. There we go. Yeah. See, that's a big gap with just OSB and tarps over the top. And there's even an air gap over there.
And one of the benefits is I like, as you all know, I like experimenting. So I like being able to see how difficult it is to warm it up. And then when I insulate the roof, I'll be able to compare it. Because very few people really know the comparison. And so, like I say, as you guys know, I like experimenting. So I like seeing how that goes, because they say roof is the most important part for insulation on a house. That you lose most of the air through the roof, and the walls aren't even that important. And so I heard that back when I had houses and was a realtor. And so I like to be able to experiment with it. I mean, it'd be fun to, insulate the roof, insulate the floor, and then insulate the walls and see how much of a difference it always makes. But I'm not going to go that thoroughly. So just doing the roof. So today I actually plan to insulate. Let's see if it gets done these short days. And then I'll get to see how well it works after I insulate the roof. Because I used to be able to sit in here and stay warm with the door open. I haven't been able to do that. So, which is really weird, because when I lived in that big cabin, I sat with the door open most of the winter. I don't know how that happened, because it was big, had a high ceiling, and no insulation. At the time, I didn't want insulation because I didn't want to deal with mice. I knew some other people who lived this way. They had a RV trailer, and they had a horrible mouse problem. But when you don't have insulation, the mice can't hide and get away from you. So I didn't want to deal with mice. And at the time I had money too, so I was just buying firewood, so I didn't care. But now I want to conserve firewood. I want to use as little as I need. And I figured out, I built a cap on the bottom of this so it's mouse proof from the bottom to the top. And so I took the chance to see if that would work, and so far so good. I only dealt with mice with this because I had a hole in the floor where I ran. I forget why I put that there. Oh, I needed ventilation because I was using propane heat. So I built this little ventilation hole. But also I kept the door open and the mice came in through the door. But we're only talking like one or two at a time, and I got rid of them. And then when I didn't live in it for a long time, then I did have a mouse problem, but I got rid of all of them. So, hey, good morning, Royce and Jennifer. Glad you guys made it. Had to go to town, so we're a bit late. Yeah, cool. Cheers. I'm drinking tea and bacon biscuits. Oh, yeah, so to fill any new viewers on, if there's anyone else but you, Jennifer and Royce. So I heated up these bricks in the wood stove this morning. One of the bricks was red hot. I've never seen a brick red hot. And anyway, so I put them on top, and I've got my biscuits, bacon. Wow, that's really rising well. I guess I did need more space. This is fantastic. It's working pretty well, folks. So anyway, hopefully the bricks aren't cooling off too fast. I may need to do 2 layers of bricks next time so that they don't cool off too quickly. Too late for that now, but I'm building the fire, so maybe I think also it would have helped if I had the fire built up more. Yeah, biscuits are the good time food. Comfort food. Craig Curtis says, get a cat. You know, I would, and out at my other property, poor thing, I should have trapped it. But cats don't do good out in the wild, and people dump cats off. So over at my other property, I occasionally will have a cat out there, as I do now. And so I was feeding it,
but it was afraid of me. But anyway, I can't have cats because one of my dogs would definitely kill it. Neither of them would forgive me. I actually feel bad for my poor dogs because all those animals that I had, like the goats, they pushed these dogs away. I didn't really realize it at the time, but I just let whichever animal comes close to me close. And the dogs were afraid of the goats, so they kept their distance. So they didn't get to spend as much time with me. And then I got the boy dogs, and boy dogs just don't care, and they crowd in and push these girl dogs away. But now that they're the only dogs that I got, the only animals that I got, they're always right close to me, and so I really realized how much they were getting pushed away. So anyway, for whatever that's worth, I like to be loyal to my friends, but I'm also lazy. So anyway, now that we got this cooking from below, the other thing I'm doing, because this stove, I wish this stove was like right here. That would be perfect. Then I could cook over it, because this thing cools off too much, and I think it's because it's so high. I've cooked on wood stoves a lot, and I like it, but this one, it's hard to get it boiling. And so if it was like this tall, it'd be perfect. So what I'm doing, I'm letting the ash build up, and then putting a brick across to keep the ash from falling out. Oh, whoops, you guys can't see. So putting a brick across the opening, and I'm going to let the ash build up to here, so that'll put the wood up higher. We'll see how that works. The challenges of cooking on a wood stove. If I remodel that cabin though, I'm getting one of them cook stoves where they're designed for cooking. I'm excited about that. I'm going to furnish it 1800s style. And I found out it won't take a whole lot to get that place remodeled, not like I thought it would. I thought the studs were in horrible shape, but the studs are actually pretty new. In fact, let's go. It's the exterior plywood, siding, whatever. I mean, it's just plywood. Makes it look like the whole place is rotted. And then the opening into the attic space is so filthy from rats that it looks like it's rotted. But then I looked closer the other day, and it's actually in good shape. So I can use the existing studs, and I'm gonna have to pull out whatever insulation is the rats have made filthy. But the rest of it I can utilize. So I estimate it at $4,000 or $5,000 to finish the interior with, with cheap siding, and to finish the exterior with the cheapest siding. So I'm not going to go completely historical. I'm just going to make it look historical, because these days they had such good materials back then. That's a bathroom addition that they added on. They had such good materials back then available, where they were, cutting down slow growth lumber and rough cutting it. And to buy that kind of stuff is super expensive now, because we got finger joint and crappy lumber. It's hard to even get a straight board these days. It's like a high school. Hard to find anything straight. And not that I'm hanging out at high schools. That was for the joke. All right, dug myself into something there. Anyway, it's expensive to get historical materials. They used wider plank boards, wider flooring. These days it's narrow flooring. The narrow flooring became popular, turn of the century. Yeah, I need to put those away, don't I? Anyway, so I'm not going to go completely historical on the construction materials. That's my point there. But as long as it's like wood clad, inside and outside,
and I'll be happy. Good enough for me. It's better than plywood and fake batten that a lot of, which is another trick to do. Anyway, up here's my wood pile. This is about the only exercise I do besides volunteer walking. However, I'm trying to stay busy these days. But yeah, I don't split it and stack it because it keeps me busy through the winter time. Gets me outside. I got a little bit split, but not much. So I got to cut up this stuff and split it. I just do a couple days worth, a few days worth. Here's another spot I thought about putting my trailer. As you can see, it's even more wide open here. So behind me goes to town. Well, let's see. I'll give you guys a perspective here. So you can see for miles. Off in that direction is one of the cattle trails that they use to get out of town when they're hauling, when they're driving cattle to Montana or to Idaho. This was a hub for a lot of cattle being used all over Washington and Canada, Idaho, and like I said, Montana. And then we even helped supply the Wyoming cattle industry. So there's another perspective of that cabin and my tiny cabin in front of it. And up there's the hillside where I was talking about. I haven't even been able to drive a truck up there yet, well, let alone that trailer. So anyway, I could put another trailer on there, my 2 containers, and this is another horse pen, but I got to finish setting it up. It's a little more space. I gave the horses that pen so I can take them with me at night. Because, oh, whoops, I seen a cougar out here once. I seen the cougar right up there, and I was about 15 feet from him. No, 15 yards. I was about 15 yards. I paced it off later, and that was when I wasn't living here. So when we're living here, we have less predators, I think. But anyway, so I don't really want to leave the horses up here when there's predators about, even coyotes, because like I say, I'm pretty sure coyotes harass them. So I bring them down there where I can come outside with a spotlight and gun really fast. So anyway, as you can see, I'd be a lot more in the open if I put my trailer up here. A lot more exposed. Exposed makes it sound bad, but less claustrophobic is what I'm getting at. But again, down here is also a little more wind protected. Like when I've lived in this cabin through the winter time, hardly ever felt wind. Unlike down at my other property when I lived down there, man, I thought my shed was gonna get blown over. I literally wondered. I thought to myself, what in the world is keeping this thing from flipping over in this wind? And because it was hitting hard. But up here I haven't felt wind like that. But it makes sense. The wind has got more time to build up momentum over there. Look at these poor horses. They went from running wild on 40 acres with a stallion 500 yards away to being out here in a tiny pen. I got to do that for a few days though. Let them remember they're not wild. I had a heck of a time catching them. They were all worked up. But like I say, most of that was from the stallion. But that dang Comanche moon, she doesn't like being caught. Nemnumkin's easy. She's easy to catch. All right, let's check on these biscuits. Well, let's check the comments too. Let's see here. Anybody commenting? Craig says, have you seen pic of Billy the Kid playing croquet? Croquet would be Quet. Bought for $2. Yeah, that one hasn't been verified.
I think it's very likely Billy the Kid. A lot of people like to be sarcastic and pessimistic, but I don't see why that one wouldn't be Billy the Kid. But there's not solid evidence that I've heard of. I think that they do. They're saying it's real, aren't they? But if you get into the photo world, it's a bunch of hogwash. Like you got people who stand to make millions of dollars. So it's like, okay, well, they're obviously biased. And so they try to prove photos are something, and that's not how history works. If anything, it's supposed to be like science, where you try to prove that it's not. Oh, look at that. You try to prove that it's not, because then if you can't prove that it's not, then that helps prove that it is. That's how we're supposed to approach history, not these morons with photographs making. You get to see what a bunch of jackasses they are. Yeah, sure enough. Usually the bottom is cooking. Part of it fell off. Usually the bottom is cooking faster than the top, but in this case, that wasn't the case. So, just kind of made a mistake here by not having the fire built up enough to cook the bottom. But also, actually, it looks like the top 3 are fine. So if I did 3 on the bottom, 3 on the top, and then 2 for sides, then I wouldn't have to worry about how big the fire is. And I can have a brick oven right here on the top of my wood stove. Guys, next time I'm heating up 6, 7, 8. Next time I'm heating up 8 bricks. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. And baking with it. This is going to be freaking sweet. Stay home and eat all the freaking chips, Kip. So, I'm excited about this. Even though I went years cooking bread like this just by flipping it. But I mean, I couldn't get it to rise like this was rising. Oh, of course, I'm also using a little bit of white flour in it nowadays. You don't get as much rise with the whole wheat flour. So anyway, we'll see if this thing will finish cooking, and then shut off the video and stuff my face, because I don't want to eat this stuff on video. It's too difficult with my mustache. I cannot figure out a way to eat it without getting honey and butter on my mustache. So anyway, all right. And I'm almost out of tea. Oh no. Well, I got about a cup and a half left. I'm also making popcorn now. I'm excited about that. Finally got enough containers to make it with. You gotta have the popper, you gotta have the butter melter, and then you gotta have something to dump the popcorn in to shake it. Unless your popper is big enough to shake it. Which mine's not. Not yet. We'll see what I come up with there. I want to get one of them stove ones with a long handle, but the gal on Marketplace didn't respond to me. Typical Marketplace. All right. Well, anybody got any questions or comments? Oh, hey, Powell Duda Day. Hello from Poland. Cool. Greetings to Poland. Hope you guys are doing well. I haven't heard anything about the Russian fighting in a while. Hopefully that's over soon, and Poland can rest easy. Anyway, why'd you bring that up, Craig? Yes, I've seen it. Did you have any purpose about the Billy Kid book picture? I recently ordered another Billy the Kid book. Didn't really need it. I'm not reading about him right now lately, but but it was cheap. It was on a sale on Amazon. You're going to Brothers for Fury? Is that movie that's coming out on December 8th? There's a new Western coming out December 8th. That is probably it, I'm assuming. If it is, yes, my brother and I are planning to go see it. We like going to movie theaters. Oh, Christmas. Okay, no, I'll have to look that up. Maybe you can send me a link if we're friends on Facebook. Because otherwise, I'm going to forget the name, and I can't go back to comments after this. But there's another one on the 8th. My brother and I are planning to go see. We like going to movie theaters. The popcorn sucks anymore, though, so I have to bring my own. Because I'm such a sucker for popcorn. If I don't bring my own, I'll buy their crappy popcorn for $12. Oh crap. Okay, that was a mistake. Whoops. All right. Anyway, I'm excited because I think this is working. I'll get it smoothed out. Okay, I used this on raw chicken. I don't know, but just to show you guys that I'm not totally unhealthy around here or dangerously unhealthy, I use alcohol to sterilize stuff when it's risky like that. Otherwise, I use my immune system, and I've got a dang good immune system. Speaking of, cut some elk meat off that carcass last night. Unfortunately, I let it get moldy, but there was a part of it that wasn't moldy, and cooked it last night. It's still good. Oh, Justin asked about my knife sheath. Justin made me a knife sheath. It's holding up, but the thing is, on my daily life, I hardly ever use a knife sheath or a gun holster. I just have it sitting around, and I've got both of my knives right here by my on my cooking area. So yeah, I love the knife sheath. I just don't find time to wear it much. But who knows? Maybe I'll go out and do some camping now that it's freaking cold. I don't know why I do that. Go camping in the wintertime. But hopefully the horses are. Hopefully she's sound. I'm going to check her feet later. See if I can put shoes on her. So I really want to go riding around on a daily basis. I'll take her out riding. Have to leave the dogs in the truck, but I can do that because it's cool enough out. All right, let's see how this goes. Craig asked about the elk hide. You know what? We got rain, so I didn't mess with the elk hide, and then I got busy moving, and I didn't mess with the elk hide, so it's still just sitting there. I was back over there yesterday and hauled a bunch of stuff along with the horses, but I didn't have room for everything, so I left it sitting. And we're gonna find out. Doggone it. It's not cooked through. That's all right. I figured out step by step. Ooh, baby. Anybody know that song reference? Anyway, like I say, next time I bake this, I'm gonna use top and bottom bricks, and it's gonna be fly. Bet nobody has heard that word in a long time. So anyway, there we go, folks. One step closer to having a brick oven situation
on my wood stove. Pretty exciting. Don't have to go outside and burn. That's why I never used it, because you got to go out and burn a fire for like 3 hours to get the wood, to get the oven going. So it's just kind of like a waste, burning for 3 hours just to bake a couple of things. That's why I didn't really utilize the brick oven since I made it back in 2020 or 2021. I got the video up about it. And so now that I figured this out, where I can just use my normal fire that I got going anyway and throw it up on top of the stove, it's going to be freaking sweet. So I'm really excited. All right, folks. Since I can't think of any deep topics to get into, and if nobody has any more questions, I'm just going to enjoy another cup of tea and wait for these biscuits to finish up, and then insulate my roof. Also, I think I have to go to town today for something, but hopefully not. Oh yeah, I remember. I got to get a couple of tools so I can build my roof. All right, folks. Hope you're enjoying some good spaghetti westerns. There's a lot of good Lee Van Cleef. I'm finally getting into it. And the Lee Van Cleef movies. You know, non Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns, in other words. Dang, that was only a half a cup of tea. That sucks. Oh, Craig asked if the wall gets hot. No, I got this thing pretty far away from the wall. Also, it's hardy board, so it's not exactly flammable. See, I can put my hand up here and it's not even hot. Right below where the stovepipe is actually touching it, it's not even too hot. The hottest part is right here. And then also people say that I'm gonna start a fire, but the insulation isn't even hot. Definitely not the exterior siding. I mean, I'm hotter than that. I mean, like, temperature-wise, I'm hot. I gotta take my coat off. The biggest concern is this desk. It gets the warmest. Oh, this one's hotter than the other one, but not dangerously hot. Like I say, I could put my hand on it. So anyway, a lot of people worry about fire. I've had closer dimensions or whatever, closer spacing than this. I mean, if you start fires enough, you'll realize it's actually hard to get a fire started. And yet people think that everything's just waiting to combust, which I think scientifically, yeah, it kind of is. But anyway, thanks. Good question, Craig. Nope, I can't keep things hot enough to start fires. I'm going to be putting the ceiling up about here. The roof here is actually cold. Let's see, the roof here, I wouldn't call it cold, but it's not warm. So, no, I'm not concerned about any of it. My intention also was to put metal behind it, because I've got another wood stove that has these metal sides that stick out about 2 inches, and they work amazingly. Like, you can hold your hand to the side, you can put things right by it and it doesn't even get hot. So I plan to put metal around the back. Actually, now that I think about it, then I'll probably back it up some more. I'll see how that works, and then I'll have a better gap. So yeah. Anyway, thanks. Good question, Craig. All right, folks. I hope you're having a good, beautiful weather. And enjoy some spaghetti westerns if you're inclined, and go out and enjoy nature. And remember, life's a lot more fun over on the wild side. Adios.